Okay.
Resh Restructuring the economy in post-Trump reality. On January 15, 2025, President Biden delivered a farewell speech addressing his concern for a dangerous accumulation of power forming in America. The transcript has been documented January 15, 2025 in the White House archives. I want to warn the country of some things that give me great concern, and that's a dangerous concentration of power in the hands of very ultra wealthy people and the dangerous consequences if their abuse of power is left unchecked. Today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights of freedoms, and the fair shot for everyone to get ahead. The wake of a post-Trump era, the U.S. faces not only political collaboration, but an urgent economic reckoning. The Trump administration has negatively impacted the economy in numerous ways. New regulations are being thrown every which way in very dictatorial way. This crisis has brought out the most distress in the most Americans due to the new rules the administration is putting in place. Greetings. Our team consists of Alyssa, Jasmine, Elizabeth, and me. The topic of this presentation is restructuring the economy in the post-Trump reality. At the center of this, one of the topics necessary to talk about is healthcare, affordable housing, and mandated paternity leave. Our first recommendation will discuss the mandated maternity and parental leave. Our second recommendation will outline the basics of healthcare. Last, we will suggest affordable housing.
To start off, our first recommendation is about mandated maternity and parental leave. Within the first week of office, President Trump seemed to betray his campaign promises on reproductive health care, taking a direct target on limiting or banning access to abortion and birth control. The Trump administration has mandated a plan with only a 6 week guarantee of a paid mandatory maternity leave. As stated, the United States is one of the only 7 countries without national paid parental leave. According to an article in the New York Times, Access May 17, 2025, the administration is finding ways to persuade women to have more children and pursuing a new cultural agenda to push these women to have children and earn a bonus of $5,000 to families of 6 or more. This idea is to propose to due to the country's birth rate declining. If this were to pursue into action, how would the administration move forward with new maternity and parental leave policies for new parents and those who will no longer have access to the second choices are forced to carry to term to increase the birth rate in this country? In fact, in the Child Threads article, Access May 18th, 2025, many countries would pay maternity leave offer time that is implemented with their security system. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, May 2025, the Federal Employee Leave Act, FEPLA, allows paid parental leave only to employees who work for the federal government. As a result, Title V of the U.S. Code provides 12 weeks of paid parental leave. Following this article, the parents who are not government employees are allowed 12 weeks of unpaid leave per year for the birth of a newborn child. According to the According to World Population Review as of May 2025, about 17 states have owed and 21 have no pay. In the US, only 11 states offer paid leave with a minimum of 12 weeks. Looking outside of the United States, most employers allow mothers additional leave time for new mothers. Countries such as Sweden and Germany offer full-time equivalent paid leave of 47 weeks, according to the Just Works article, Access May 18, 2025. There should be adequate reimbursement for worker wages. To change these policies, provide more than 12 weeks of leave, ensuring that all jobs offer protection for all workers when taking leave If not, some of the impacts can affect parents' mental health in having to worry about how to make ends meet when they need to afford necessities for the child. Maternity leave should not be accessible to women but should be made gender neutral. It can encourage both parents to participate fairly in this leave. Maternity leave should also give access to those working part time, not just full workers. Employers in the U.S. should implement flexibility for parents who choose to leave before or after a child's birth. Sweden is known to be one of the countries with the longest maternity leave at 47 weeks. Just like Sweden, single parents are entitled to have 480 days of leave, or those who are single fathers or parents of the same sex couples are also entitled to have 10 days of leave when a child is adopted or born. Inserting these ideas into the administration can boost the trust among Americans in having children in the future with these set regulations from other countries.
Our second recommendation is the impact of affordable housing. Affordable housing is a significant economic motivator in addition to being morally required all over the United States. However, on April 2nd, Trump promised a more retaliatory tariffs on nations that put tariffs on US goods and implemented duties on items for a number of nations at particular items. And you may be wondering what tariffs are. Tariffs are the government collecting taxes from businesses that support goods to the United States. To which you also may be wondering how this can affect housing. For starters, think of home buildings. The supplies used to build new homes mostly come from Canada. Therefore, an American home building company that wishes to purchase $200 worth of Canadian supplies will have to pay an extra $50,000 to import the lumber if there is a 25% duty on Canadian imports. To which this raises the prices of houses because lots of money these home building companies already lost. See, now if we were to never put tariffs on affordable housing, it would help with our economy. Timelines for affordable housing development and remodeling could be significantly impacted by stricter immigration laws. According to the housing market under Trump, published on February 27, 2025, about 30% of construction workers are immigrants. According to working in trades including in electrical, masonry, plastering, and carpentry, home prices could rise as a result of building delays and higher labor expenses if the essential work is reduced. Uh, um, Affordable housing projects can stimulate having a significance in job creations. A study by the Affordable Housing Advisory Center published on April 30th, 2024 in Pennsylvania, every 10 million invested in affordable housing construction supports 110 jobs and generates 19.6 million in the total the economy. The home the affordable home how the affordable housing act released on August 6, 2024 in Massachusetts guarantees the creation of about 30,000 employment over the following 5 years, which has a potential to boost the economic activity by 25 billion and generate about 1 billion in state and local tax income. Not only can affordable housing generate new jobs for people, it can also create workforce stability. Many low-income and moderate income workers, such as teachers, healthcare workers, and retail employees, struggle to find houses near their workplace, which leads to long commutes and an increase in transportation costs, which can also lead to less job productivity and job satisfaction. It also helps with less homelessness because more houses are affordable, therefore so people don't have to constantly give up foods like needs like water and or food like food, water, and educational over bills on a house. According to a study done in New York, affordable housing finance ran on September 29th, 2024. The affordable housing industry as a whole in New York sustains 650 million in annual economic spending on local goods and services and building maintenance. By providing affordable housing, this gives people options to closer employment centers, communities, and even local businesses, which can lead to an increase in consumer spending for people that spend money on what they need. For example, food, healthcare, and education, which also can encourage educational productivity. Children in stable homes perform better in school, and adults are more productive, having less absence and more turnovers at work. Not only does the economy with affordable housing function effectively, but more efficiently. It can increase productivity, lift consumer spending, reduce public costs, and support local businesses. It can support local business development. Rather than constantly being drained, affordable housing should be a strategic economic asset that fosters people all over the United States for the long term.
In a post-Trump economic landscape, addressing the rising costs and accessibility of childcare is essential for restructuring the economy to support working families and stimulate growth. Rebecca Reese published on May 14, 2025 on CNN that childcare expenses have surged by 29% from 2020 to 2024, significantly outpacing general inflation, making it increasingly affordable for many families and impacting decisions about expanding households. Investing in affordable, quality childcare not only relieves financial burdens on parents, but also promotes labor force participation, particularly among women, thus boosting the overall economy. Policymakers should consider expanding the child and dependent care tax credit and implementing true cost of care reimbursement models to ensure subsidies reflect actual expenses, as these measures have received bipartisan support and could effectively improve affordability and access. Moreover, preserving and strengthening programs like Head Start is crucial, and proposed cuts threaten to eliminate vital child care slots for low-income families, potentially harming children's development and increasing economic inequities. To build a resilient economy, comprehensive child care reforms must be prioritized, merging increased funding, supporting tax policies, and regulatory adjustments to create a sustainable system that benefits families, children, and the workforce.
Our third recommendation is universal healthcare. Thanks to President Trump, the Overton window has shifted significantly towards the right, where arguments are made against marginalized people and a hostility towards government assistance towards those people. As much as the current political climate might suggest, healthcare should be a human right, especially when our country has the financial means to cover the healthcare of all its citizens free of cost. A 2022 statistic posted by the Peter G. Peterson Foundation states that the United States spends more on healthcare than the rest of the developed world. In 2022, the United States spent an estimated of $12,742 per person on healthcare, the highest healthcare cost per capita across similar countries. For comparison, Switzerland was the second highest spending country with $9,044 in healthcare cost per capita, while the average for wealthy OECD countries, excluding the United States, was only $6,850 per person. Such comparisons indicate that the United States spends a disproportionate amount on healthcare. The healthcare system in the United States has been widely seen and recognized as corrupt due to its nature in prioritizing profit over patients, frustrating processes, systemic barriers, and astronomically high prices. While our healthcare is most expensive, it's the least efficient and least effective, as quoted by the Washington Post in June 2014. A 2023 Time article reports on data from a Harris Poll survey, where only 27% of people who took the survey said that the U.S. medical system meets all of their needs, while the rest listed complaints, including how long it takes to get an appointment, 31% of respondents, high cost, 26%, limitations of insurance coverage, 23%, a subpar focus on preventable care and wellness, 19%. As Americans, we are paying more for healthcare than other countries who pay less for nothing at all. Some make the argument that universal healthcare is not financially possible. However, a free healthcare system can save the country billions of dollars. The National Library of Medicine posted an article in 2021, predicting the expenditure of universal healthcare. We predict that a single-payer healthcare system would require $3.1 1.034 trillion annually, 458 billion less than the current national healthcare expenditure. Even after accounting for the increased cost of coverage expansion, our data-driven base case includes 210 billion savings on hospital care, 111 billion on physician and clinical services, 224 billion on overhead, and 180 billion on prescription drugs. Consequently, per capita, annual expenditure would drop from 10,000 1,730,906 to 9,330, equivalent to a 13.1% reduction. Universal healthcare does nothing but benefit our country. The only people concerned about the lack of healthcare profit are the ultra rich and powerful. And after witnessing the Trump presidency, we should learn by now to prioritize real Americans over the top 1% in power. In the post Trump aftermath, we must revisit the ethics of our current healthcare system and make some long overdue changes. In a climate against government assistance, we argue that the government isn't assisting enough. Instead, they line the pockets of the ultra rich and leave the rest of Americans to struggle in the economy that they benefit from.
Today, we discussed 3 recommendations for restructuring capitalism in the United States in a post-Trump world. Our first recommendation discussed universal health care. Our second recommendation is outlined as the mandated maternity leave. Last, we suggested parameters of affordable housing. There's a lot of uncertainty with the aftermath of post-Trump reality. We know that we have the control to overpower our government. For what we can say and stand for, by focusing on universal basic healthcare and maternity and parental leave rights, ultimately this plan is about caring for people in our society, giving Americans hope that there is a better way to overcome the administrative power to restore the United States to what it was at the beginning of this nation. As Kamala Harris shared post-election, the light of America's promise will always burn bright as long as we never give up and as long as we keep fighting. Thank you.